I'm here in Venice, California at the G2 Gallery's opening of the exhibit Where the Wild Things Grow. With me are two of the joint exhibitors, Rob Badger and Nita Winter.
It's our first time we've done a joint gallery exhibit, so we're very excited about it.
I photograph flowers in the field without disturbing them, without doing any harm. I use a variety of techniques, including putting black or white backgrounds behind them, because sometimes the background behind the plant is distracting. So the point is to evoke the beautiful essence of the plant or the blossom without a distracting background. Also, what I've done out of necessity is I started wrapping the wildflowers, as you can see here, there, and over there. I started wrapping them with a black chiffon or a white chiffon. Again, it was originally to eliminate a distracting background. What I have learned is that if I create folds in a beautiful pattern that help enhance the image, I create a nice elegant sense to wrap the flower in. So that's a technique that I developed myself. Another way that I photograph wildflowers to get a feeling of really being in contact with them is actually put the lens of the camera, an extremely wide angle camera, right up against the flower gently. So you have a feeling of being right there, right almost up against the flower. For me, it's a more intimate way to experience the flower. So only parts of the flower are in focus. Some of them recede off into the background, so it's also a nice way to abstract them.
Only every 50 years will we see such a massive number of flowers blooming at the same time?
That's when everything comes together, the amount of rain, when the rains fall, the temperatures, that it doesn't get too hot to dry out the flowers, and it all came together that year. And yes, we probably won't see that again for 50 years, or it hadn't been for 50 years. One of the focuses of the book that we're putting together, called Impressions of Spring, Wildflowers of the West on Our Public Lands, because we want to get the message out that we need to be conscious of how we live our lives and how we preserve land or develop land that may be so unique that species are wiped out, or that individual flowers don't get to exist. And it's all interconnected. And with climate change, they're predicting that we could lose 25 to 30% of wildflowers by the year 2050.
A lot of the reason that I photograph individual flowers is because I believe in the primal value of the individual. And so how do we protect that environment that supports the existence and the fulfillment of an individual, whether it's a flower, whether it's anything that lives. I mean, every individual deserves to live, so it's how do we have that balance?
Everything is connected in some way, so when you start losing one species, it can create a cascade of loss in all other types of wildlife and in that whole area, and can completely change what's in an area.
I'm working with Nita Self on a project documenting alpine and subalpine wildflowers. I chose that specifically because although some species can migrate to higher altitudes to have a place to live, when you get up to the highest reaches of the land, there's no place where these flowers can go. They just run out of land. So there are species that definitely will go extinct. They're going to be sinking into the heat. There are cool islands that they live on are going to be inundated by the heat from global warming. The larger the population, the larger the source of the problems. And so a lot of the work that I do is based on getting people to think about how many people is appropriate